I scored band 8.5 in IELTS Speaking twice, but here's the truth. Just speaking isn't enough to impress the examiner. You must prove to the examiner your English is advanced. In this video, I will reveal 9 powerful tips to help you boost your IELTS speaking score. By the end of this video, you will know how to apply these tips to improve your band score quickly. If you're going to take your IELTS soon, check out my IELTS materials. There, I teach you everything you need to score high. I show you step by step how to give high-scoring answers. And of course, we do many practice tests together, so you will feel confident for your test. You can find the link in the description box. And now, let's get started. Let's begin with tip number 1, which is super important for getting a high band score in the IELTS speaking test. Use full sentences. Lots of the questions in IELTS speaking can be answered in a word. For example, you might be asked whether you agree with a viewpoint. The answer could be a brief yes. However, that doesn't show off your speaking skills. You need to demonstrate that you know grammar patterns and have a good vocabulary. Therefore, try to answer every question with complete sentences. For example, you can say, "Yes, I agree with that view." That's a full sentence that not only answers the question, but shows off your language ability. Plus, it's really important to know that there is no correct answer. You will not be marked down for choosing one side of a debate rather than another. You will not be marked down for examples that are extremely obvious either. You don't have to be creative and think of something unique. The point of the IELTS speaking test is to show that you can present an idea and give reasons for your view. Don't worry about what the examiner might think of the topic. If you do this, you may get distracted, which will affect your performance. Focus on how you organize your ideas. If you need to give an example for a topic you don't have much experience with, you can also make up information. The examiner is only interested in your English skills, not in whether you tell the truth or not. Another essential point is that you should explain or support your view, give a reason that you feel a certain way about the topic, or give an example that illustrates the point. For example, you might be asked about customs in your country. You could start by answering, "Yes, my family follows many of my country's traditions." But that's not a great answer. This is a great topic to add an example. The next sentence might be, "For example, every year at Christmas, my family gets together for a big party. We eat a special food called Stollen." Do you see how the example continues the topic? This way you ensure that you answer the question completely and you give yourself the opportunity to showcase your English skills. Plan on about 2 or 3 extra sentences after you state your opinion about the topic. If you talk too long, the examiner will stop you. That's okay. It's better to say too much than just answer in one short sentence. Next comes a crucial point. You should look at the IELTS speaking examiner while you are talking. Don't look at your hands or lap. Why is it important to look up? There are 2 reasons for this. First, your words are clearer. When you look down, you don't open your mouth as wide and the words blend together more. Therefore, looking up makes your response easier to understand. And that's super important because if the examiner can't understand you, she can't give you a high band score. While I'm talking about this, I also should mention that using gestures helps you remember ideas and pace your response well. Go ahead and use hand movements and facial expressions naturally, like you would in any conversation. The second reason why looking up is important is that it's polite. Imagine that you have just met a new person, such as the person next to you when you are riding a train or airplane. The person asks some questions about your country or experiences. That's the tone for the IELTS speaking section. Make eye contact and speak politely, like you would to a person you don't know well. By the way, if you want more videos on how to score highly on IELTS speaking, hit the like button and write yes in the comments. If you want something else, tell me your video wish in the comments so I know what you would like to see on this channel. Now, let's have a look at 5 more tips I use to get a band 8.5. Tip number 5 is to use a variety of grammar and vocabulary. You are scored on your English speaking ability, and that includes grammar and vocabulary. If all your sentences are the same length and structure, you don't show off your skills. Therefore, try varying the sentence structures. You can paraphrase words or use pronouns. Let me give you a short example. Here's a set of sentences that have the same structure and words. My country has many traditions. Christmas has the most traditions. My family eats a Christmas dessert. The Christmas dessert is called stollen. Do you see how the structure of all the sentences is subject, verb, object? The word Christmas is said 3 times. Traditions and dessert are repeated too. How would you change these sentences? Here's one way I might combine them, so I use more grammar and vocabulary. My country has many traditions, especially at Christmas. My family eats a holiday dessert that's called stollen. As you can see, I changed the second sentence. Christmas has the most traditions to a phrase that expands on the first sentence. Especially at Christmas. I combined the last 2 sentences too. If you find a place where the last word of one sentence is the first word of the next, you can usually use a clause starting with that, which, who, or where. I also changed Christmas dessert to holiday dessert because the listener knows you are talking about Christmas. Holiday is a new vocabulary word that shows a range of language. Try thinking of a different way to combine the sentences. The more you practice, the better you will get at forming more complex sentences from short ideas. Now that I have told you to use different vocabulary, I must warn you. Avoid words or phrases you don't know well, especially idioms. It's true that complex words and idioms can show off your language skills, and if you know how to use them correctly, you should absolutely do this. However, if you make errors, you will lose points. In fact, you will get a higher band score for a simpler response that is correct than for a complex response with many errors. Therefore, only use words and idioms you know well. While I'm talking about errors, it's natural to make them. Native speakers make mistakes too, especially when they are nervous. If the mistake is very minor, you can ignore it. However, if you can fix the mistake smoothly, then it shows that you have advanced language skills. For example, I could say, my family brings a special dessert for holidays. You won't lose points for an answer like that, as long as you only do it a few times. You can also pause briefly to remember the correct word. I suggest using a phrase like this. My family brings a special, dessert for holidays. Try to avoid loud noises with no meaning, like and be sure not to use a filler phrase from your native language. Remember, you were supposed to be speaking English. Another way to make your speech sound natural is to use hedges. Those are little words like most or about. They soften the tone so you don't sound too certain and including everything. For example, I could say, every family in Germany eats stollen, but that is rather strong, isn't it? The hedge almost works well here. Almost every family in Germany eats stollen. Another form of hedge is to start a sentence with I think or I believe. Those phrases show that you are not 100% sure, but you can still give a good answer about what probably happens. Hedges are really useful tools in the IELTS speaking and writing sections. Finally, I want to mention accents. Everyone speaks with some variation in pronunciation and tone, and that's okay. Don't try to use a fake American or British accent. That just sounds weird and makes your speech hard to understand. Instead, speak naturally. The examiner is trained to understand different accents. Work on clear communication of ideas. Organize your thoughts logically with linking words to show how ideas relate. Use the correct words and grammatical patterns. Speak clearly and carefully. If you are understandable, Accent doesn't matter. Do try to give your words some rhythm though. Don't talk like a robot. Use some ups and downs or say important words more strongly for emphasis. That's it. That's 9 top tips that help you score high in IELTS speaking. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you're notified when the next video comes out. Also, share this video with your friends so they can improve their IELTS score too. See you in the next video.